Welcome along, fellow time travelers. Before I begin, please like and share the show and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Now let's begin our journey. Disneyland in Anaheim, California, opened its gates on July 17, 1955, as Walt Disney's ambitious version of a family-friendly wonderland. While its history is often celebrated for charm and innovation, the park's early years, especially before 1970, are riddled with bizarre, unsettling, and downright eerie tales that reveal a darker, stranger side. From macabre mishaps to oddball experiments, let's take a dive into the peculiar underbelly of Disneyland's formative era, spotlighting facts that range from the strange to the downright creepy. Let's begin by talking about the opening day chaos. Disneyland's debut, infamously dubbed Black Sunday, set a tone of chaos that bordered on the surreal. On July 17, 1955, the park expected about 15,000 invited guests, but saw over 28,000 swarm in, thanks to counterfeit tickets sold by opportunists. The temperature hit 101 Fahrenheit, melting fresh asphalt into a tarry trap that snagged women's heels and left footprints across Main Street. A plumber strike forced Walt to choose between working toilets or drinking fountains. He picked the toilets, leaving guests dehydrated and kind of furious. Some whispering conspiracies about Pepsi, which was the sponsor, forcing soda sales. Rides like Dumbo, the Flying Elephant, malfunctioned. The Mark Twain riverboat nearly sank under 300 passengers. Its capacity was 100. And a gas leak in Fantasyland sparked evacuation fears. The live TV broadcast captured Walt's frustration as cameras caught mishaps, like a Tomorrowland worker urinating off-screen due to no facilities. This apocalyptic opening hinted at the strange turbulence beneath the park's polished surface. Do you know about the real skeletons of Pirates of the Caribbean? Well, check this out. When Pirates of the Caribbean debuted on March 18, 1967, it boasted a chilling detail. Many of its skeletons were real human remains. In the 1960s, Disney's Imagineers found fake skeletons unconvincing, so they sourced authentic bones from UCLA's medical center. They were remnants of cadavers that were used for research. These grim relics adorn scenes of drunken pirates and treasure hoards, their hollow eye sockets staring at oblivious guests. One skull, allegedly still perched above the treasure room headboard, remains today, though most were swapped for replicas by the 1970s as technology improved. The idea of riding past actual corpses adds a macabre layer to the attraction's jovial facade, a secret Walt himself approved before his 1966 death. Did feral cats take over the castle? Let's find out. In 1955, shortly after opening, Walt Disney discovered dozens of stray cats living inside Sleeping Beauty Castle's hollow structure. Rather than evict them, he saw an opportunity. The park faced a rodent problem. Mice and rats gnawed at cables and scurried through kitchens. So, Walt let the cats stay as natural pest control. By the late 1950s, their population swelled to over 100, roaming nocturnally through Adventureland and Frontierland. Cast members fed them scraps, and veterinarians occasionally tended to their health, creating an unofficial feline workforce. Guests rarely noticed, but the eerie sight of glowing eyes in the shadows after dark gave some employees the creeps. A silent, furry army guarding Disneyland's underbelly. What about the Haunted Mansion's early ghosts? Before the Haunted Mansion opened on August 9, 1969, its development was steeped in eerie oddities. Conceived in the 1950s, the attraction sat unfinished for years, its facade an empty shell dubbed the Ghost House by cast members. Rumors swirled that Walt halted construction after a worker died on site, an unconfirmed tale of a fall from the roof. But the delay actually stemmed from design debates and Walt's death. During its idle years, the building attracted trespassers and vandals, some claiming to hear moans or see flickering lights inside. When it finally opened, the stretching room fueled tales of guests trapped in mid-descent. though no such incidents were recorded. The mansion's grim allure was enhanced by its real-world inspiration, the Winchester Mystery House, a curious mansion that was supposedly built to appease restless spirits. The Matterhorn bobsleds, opened in 1959, hides a disturbing footnote. On May 15, 1964, 15-year-old Mark Maples became the first guest to die at Disneyland. Riding with friends, he unbuckled his seatbelt to stand mid-ride, lost his balance, and fell onto the tracks. He was struck by an oncoming sled, suffering fatal head injuries. Cast members reportedly heard his screams echo through the mountain's hollow interior as they scrambled to stop the ride. The incident was hushed up, but whispers of a lingering presence near the Matterhorn persisted among employees. Some even refused to work night shifts there. Adding to its strange history, a basketball court was later built inside the Peak, which was often used by cast members as a break room. The Jungle Cruise's Crocodile Scare. In the early 1960s, the Jungle Cruise faced an unsettling incident when a live crocodile escaped into the attraction's river. A supplier had delivered real animals for an ill-fated publicity stunt, but one broke free during unloading, vanishing into the murky water. For days, skippers navigated nervously, warning guests of a rogue croc, as a half-joke, until maintenance divers found and recaptured it near the hippo pool. This episode reinforced Walt's decision to stick with animatronics, but not before cast members swapped tales of glowing eyes stalking boats at dusk. And then comes the lingerie shop fiasco. From July 1955 to January 1956, Main Street, USA hosted one of Disneyland's strangest tenants, the intimate apparel shop. Sponsored by Hollywood Maxwell Brazier Company, it sold corsets, bras, and garters amid Victorian decor, complete with a slideshow called The Wizard of Bras. No, I didn't make that up. That's what they called it, The Wizard of Bras, detailing undergarment history, which of course we all want to know. The shop's sultry vibe clashed with the park's wholesome image, drawing gawkers and complaints. One employee recalled a mannequin's head inexplicably falling off during a busy day, startling guests, an omen, perhaps, of its swift closure after 6 months. Do you know about the Tomorrowland UFO hoax? Well, gather close and I'll tell you all about it. In 1955, Tomorrowland's futuristic promise took a bizarre turn when locals reported a UFO hovering over the park. On August 18th, a stunt pilot in a silver-painted plane buzzed low to promote the Rocket to the Moon ride, sparking panic. Some swore they saw an alien craft land near the Autopia, and newspapers ran wild with speculation. Walt was kind of amused, and he let the rumor fester before admitting it was a publicity gag gone awry. The incident left a legacy of eerie UFO lore tied to the park's early days. Now let's talk about the monorail's near disaster. The Disneyland monorail, launched in 1959 as America's first daily operating monorail, narrowly escaped catastrophe in 1960. During a test run, a car derailed due to a misaligned track, dangling precariously over Tomorrowland. Engineers scrambled to secure it, fearing a crash into the crowded plaza below. No injuries occurred, but the sight of the sleek train teetering, coupled with whispers of sabotage, left cast members rattled. Walt ordered rigorous safety checks, ensuring the monorail's iconic status endured. Now let's talk about Ghost Town, shall we? The mine train through nature's wonderland, which was around from 1956 till 1977, featured a creepy abandoned ghost town section, complete with eerie sound effects and tumbleweeds. In 1962, a guest claimed to see a spectral figure, a miner in tattered clothes near the tracks, vanishing when approached. Cast members dismissed it as heatstroke-induced hallucination, but the tale stuck, bolstered by the ride's desolate vibe. Some speculated it was a prank by a costume worker, yet no records confirm such antics. Now, what about that story about Walt Disney being frozen? Though not a park-specific event, a creepy rumor tied to Disneyland emerged after Walt Disney's death on December 15, 1966, that he was cryogenically frozen beneath the park. The myth claimed his body rested under Pirates of the Caribbean, or the castle, awaiting revival. In truth, Walt Disney was cremated and interred at Forest Lawn Cemetery. Or was he? But the tale, fueled by his love for futuristic ideas, cast a chilling shadow over his legacy. On July 17th, 1965, Disneyland buried a time capsule near Sleeping Beauty Castle to mark its 10th anniversary. Sealed until 2015, though later dug up in 1995 for the 40th, it contained park memorabilia and a cryptic note from Walt. Rumors swirled that it held something unsettling, perhaps a personal confession or odd artifact. But it proved mundane when opened. The secrecy, however, fed a sense of unease among early staff. Now let's talk about some strange employee superstitions. Cast members developed odd rituals to cope with the park's quirks. Some refused to say goodbye near the Haunted Mansion, fearing it invited spirits to follow them home. Others tossed coins into the rivers of America after dark, believing it appeased a river ghost, blamed for equipment glitches. These superstitions, born from long nights and strange occurrences, hint at a workforce attuned to the park's uncanny edges. In conclusion, Disneyland's early history is a tapestry of whimsy laced with the strange and macabre. From real skeletons and rogue crocodiles to fatal accidents and ghostly rumors, these early years reveal a park as unpredictable as it was magical. Walt's dream thrived amid chaos, leaving behind a legacy where the strange and creepy coexist with the enchanting, a duality that makes Disneyland's past endlessly fascinating and strange. So, what do you think about the strange history of Disneyland? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments below. Kindly remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Please check out the links below to learn how to support my research and productions. This channel is sponsored by CampfireShop.com. Remember, you can become a member of this channel and join me on Patreon to see exclusive photos and videos. You could also leave a super thanks in the comments below. Kindly be kind to all of our fellow Earthlings and please do not harm them. And do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog or both. You and they will be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.